Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Chemical Guys Detail Garage. So every dad knows how to wash their car, but detailing is not just about washing cars. Detailing is about paying attention to the fine details and doing the extra effort and work in order to get that stunning shine. So if you're watching this video today and you want to go ahead and learn a few things what you can do after your car wash to enhance your paint, or if you are a dad and you want to go ahead and learn more about what you can do after your car wash, stay tuned. I'm going to show you guys some quick and easy things that you can do to increase the shine and the overall value of your ride. So first things first, one easy thing that's definitely going to make a huge difference, even if you're just going to wash the car, a clay bar. Now, a clay bar is going to work out great to decontaminate your paint so that your surface is glass smooth. There's no contamination on there, so any kind of waxes, spray wax, or any kind of polishing work makes it much more easier to go ahead and conduct when you have a glass smooth paint. Now, we are going to be using our synthetic clay block today. Synthetic clay is pretty much a mixture between a rubber/clay mixture. So this is going to be ultra easy. No need for kneading around a piece of clay bar. This stuff works out great for all levels of contamination. It makes it super easy so that anyone can clay bar, even if they haven't ever done it before. So we're going to go ahead and use that to go ahead and clay bar the paint and prep it for polishing. Now, when it comes down to polishing, I know polishing can be one of those things where not too many people or a lot of people get afraid of. And polishing is probably one of the most easiest things you can do to your paint to make it look way better. Now, in front of me, I know you see a lot of stuff. Don't worry, I'm gonna break this down as we go throughout this video. I'm gonna show you guys about our Chemical Guys V line, the pads, the machine that we're using, and furthermore. And lastly, I wanted to make it kind of easy and simple to go ahead and kind of wrap everything up. So we're not gonna be doing a ceramic coating. We're not gonna be doing all that extra stuff today. We're gonna keep it simple for dad. We're gonna be using Extreme Top Coat, which is a sealant with carnauba. Now it has sealant properties, which makes it more of a sealant. That's gonna give you a very durable protection against the elements, extreme hydrophobic properties, and it's gonna go ahead and give it a deep carnauba shine because remember, it does contain some carnauba oils in there, which are gonna go ahead and reflect that beautiful polishing work and preparation work that you did with the clay bar. Now that's gonna go ahead and kind of wrap everything up all nicely together so that dad enjoys his sweet new ride. So we're gonna head on over to our vehicle here so that we can go ahead and start breaking these items down for you. So before we start clay barring, I do wanna mention that we have already washed the car. We washed it outside. We did a full 2-bucket wash method just to make sure that we remove all the contamination that's on here. We dried it and now we pulled it in. So now after you washed and dried your vehicle, now you can begin clay barring. Now to keep things easy for dad, we're gonna be using a synthetic clay block. Now a synthetic clay block, it's really cool because it's like a synthetic clay material. So this right here, there's no need for kneading like I was mentioning earlier. All you have to do is spray directly and then just go left and right, and it's as easy as that. You don't need to knead any clay bars. You don't have to worry about if you drop it. If you drop it on the floor, rinse it right off and you're good to go. So we're gonna be using it with our clay luber. Now clay luber is great because it's a synthetic lubricant designed to go with your clay bar. And it's gonna extend the life of your clay bar and or clay block. So we're gonna go ahead and spray a nice fine coat onto the surface, spray our clay block, and all we're gonna do is simply glide it left and right. So you see, it has a nice foam applicator sponge that we can grab onto. We're not kind of struggling, trying to grab the clay bar. The clay bars can be a little bit tedious sometimes, but the synthetic clay block does an amazing job at removing this level of contamination without having all that necessity of having that clay bar. So it definitely does help out in the clay barring process because it makes it so much easier to simply clay bar the surface and not have to worry about dropping your clay bar. So once you've done a nice little section, you can go ahead and grab your towel, wipe off the excess of the lubricant just to make sure that we wipe off any kind of contamination as well, and we're done. This truck, it's pretty maintained, which is a good thing, but it does have a light layer of contamination that we can always remove with a clay bar. Whether the truck be brand new or an older truck, this stuff is still gonna do great at removing all the level of contamination that's on there. Whenever you apply a wax or you polish the surface, you're gonna get the best results possible because there's no contamination that's gonna interfere with the results. So clay barring is key when it comes down to polishing, applying a ceramic coating. Even the simplest thing is even just applying a regular wax. A clay bar is gonna make the biggest difference in terms of durability and shine because what the wax and all that stuff is gonna pretty much reflect off of is the condition of the paint. And it's not gonna do that great of a job if there's contamination clouding it. So clay barring is definitely key when it comes down to any of those things. We're gonna proceed with clay blocking the entire truck. So so that we make sure that we remove all the contamination so that we're ready for our next step, which is polishing. So stay tuned. All right, so I kind of made a little mistake. I went a little crazy with the clay lube and it slipped right out of my hands. So what do you do now? Well, in a typical situation, when you're faced with a clay bar, you're gonna get a lot of fine debris that sticks onto the surface. Well, since this is a synthetic material, check this out. All you gotta do is even actually just spray water, or you can actually spray some more clay luber, spray directly, grab a nice microfiber towel, and simply wipe it off. And that's gonna wipe off any contamination that's on there so that we don't rub back any kind of contamination, rocks, or any kind of fine debris that we picked up off the floor. Check it out, as good as new. So I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with finishing the rest of the truck. I'm gonna try my best not to, let this slip out of my hands, and we'll be back once we're ready to polish. All right, so we just finished clay barring the entire vehicle. It's fully decontaminated and it's ready for us to start polishing. Now in front of me right here, we have our TORQ 10FX kit. Now this kit is excellent because it offers everything that you need to get rid of all levels of scratches, swirls, and imperfections that are on your paint. Now, when it comes down to paint correction, there's not one product or a combination of product that's gonna work on every single vehicle. Whenever you polish, you wanna make sure that you cut as least amount as possible. So the last thing you wanna do is go in with the heavy aggressive pad, with the heavy aggressive compound, and cutting off a good chunk of layer of life out of your clear coat and your paint. We always recommend using the least most aggressive approach so that your paint has a more durable lifetime. So to begin this process, we usually recommend going with the least aggressive approach. So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the TORQ 10FX, and we're gonna go ahead and start off with V36, which is a light cutting polish. And I'm gonna go ahead and use that with our orange pad here, just because we've already analyzed the paint and we can tell just from looking at the door and the fender that the paint is pretty neglected. So we're gonna go ahead and hit it with V36 and the orange pad first, and then we're gonna analyze what that does for the paint and see if we're gonna have to resort to a more aggressive measure, such as V34 and or V32. So I'm gonna grab the machine, set everything all up, and we're gonna meet you back at the door so we can start polishing. All right, so to begin this process, I'm gonna go ahead and start off by masking off an area. And this is just so I can see what the effects of my first pass is gonna look like. So I like getting a nice piece of masking tape. I'll try to set that out nicely. And I'll just lay it right down, right in the between the door panel. Just make sure that's nice and even on there. And now we can go ahead and assess our results. So once we do this area, we can go ahead and pull off our tape and see how it compares to how it was before versus how it was then. So we'll have a better idea of what the polish that we did on this side looks like, and we'll know if we have to go with a more aggressive measure. So now that that's masked off, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my TORQ 10FX. Now I'm using the Orange Hex-Logic Pad with V36 because the orange is a cutting pad. So this is gonna go ahead and reflect a more moderate cut when I'm using it with this product. Now, of course, I can use V36 with the white polishing pad, and that's gonna go ahead and achieve a light cut. Since I'm going for more of a moderate cut, just because the scratches and swirls are a little bit on the bad side on this car, I'm gonna go ahead and use it with an orange pad instead. So when you apply, or when you put your orange pad onto your machine, you wanna make sure that you center it as best as possible so that you get the most even cut. So once that's settled on there, you can give it a spin to see if it's all nice and even, and it looks pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over, and I'm gonna grab my V36. Now, check out this bottle size. It's a very small size, it's a 4-ounce size, but this bottle is enough to do multiple vehicles. When I first got my polisher, this was enough to polish my truck about 3 or 4 times. So the way to properly use this product is you don't wanna go ahead and just put a bunch of it on there. You wanna make sure to apply a couple pea-sized drops. So once you have it nice and ready, you're gonna go ahead and apply about, a good rule of thumb is to go with the size of the pad. So this is a 5-inch pad, so I'm gonna apply 5 pea-sized drops. 3, 4, 5. Check it out. That's all I need, and that's gonna be enough for me to go ahead and do, possibly this entire door. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna spray my pad here with some pad conditioner, and this is just gonna lubricate the pad so it stays nice and moist and I don't create any excess heat that's gonna cause the pad to break down and fall apart. So this is gonna keep your pad nice and moistened so that it doesn't create any excess heat, which that's going to prevent you from burning the paint and so forth. And that's another great topic to go over is, can you burn the paint with the DA polisher such as the 10FX? It's very hard to, just simply because of the motion that it has. The TORQ 10FX, it's a dual action motion. So it rotates on one axis and it orbits on the other. So it's going to give you kind of like a massage effect to the paint. So it's not really going to be creating direct heat such as with the rotary polisher. So it's not going to cut as aggressive and as fast, but it's definitely going to do a lot safer of a job of cutting these scratches and swirls without us creating a high risk situation for burning our paint. So with that being said, that's 5 drops. I'm going to go ahead and blot that out onto the surface just to kind of spread it out. And then I'm just going to move a little bit to the side so I can get a better kind of, position. I'm gonna turn on my machine, so you can go ahead and turn that on by just flicking that switch there. And you can go ahead and scroll through the speed settings here. I'm gonna go ahead and bump it up to speed setting 1 to, work the product into the surface and just kind of spread it out across evenly this area. All right, so now that I've spread out the product onto the surface that I'm going to be working in, now I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to speed setting 6. Now, if it's your first time polishing, if you're trying to show your dad how to polish, or maybe he doesn't have the best confidence in using a polisher, then I would recommend putting it on anywhere from speed setting 3 to 4. If you're a professional and you already know how to use a polisher, it's going to be, in no time that you're going to go ahead and be a lot more used to it, and you're going to be utilizing the more faster speeds so that you get a more even cut. So now that I've worked on the product into this area, I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to speed setting 6. I'm going to go ahead and work the product completely in a crosshatch motion. So I'm going to go left to right, right to left, and then up and down. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat that a couple times just until the product becomes clear and translucent. And then we'll know that it's safe to go ahead and wipe it right off. And then you'll also know that the abrasives in the product have broken down so that you can wipe it right off. So I'm going to go ahead and bump this up to speed setting 6, and I'll see you guys right now once we finish polishing this panel. All right, so now that we've finished working on the product, I'm gonna go ahead and set my machine down, and I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off to inspect my results. So right away, I can tell there's a lot more clarity. The metallic is a lot more visual. The metallic looks a lot better than what it is on the left side. And just without even pulling off the tape, you can see a huge difference in terms of shine, clarity, and a lot of those light scratches and swirls are now removed. Now, like I said, we did V36 because it was a light cut. It wasn't an aggressive measure. It was just something quick. You guys saw how fast I was, real time. That probably only took me like about 1.5 minutes to do just this small little section. And you guys see the great results that it has. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take off this piece of tape right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the light so that you guys can get a better visual of what kind of results you can achieve by just using a one-step cutting polish. So check it out, it looks great. I'm gonna wipe off the residue from the adhesive of the tape here. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab my cameraman here with our LED inspection light so that we can get a better visual of the difference in clarity, shine, and the level of scratches and swirls that this panel has. Check out those results. So you see a huge difference between just a one-step polish with the V36 versus an unpolished side. Now, obviously, like I said, we do have more aggressive compounds. So if your dad is a perfectionist and he wants to get the best shine possible and remove 100% of those scratches and swirls, that's why you have V34 and, like I said, at worst case scenario, V32. So at this point in time, you can look at your paint and pretty much either tell yourself, hey, I'm happy with the results and this is how I want my paint to look like. This is the condition of the paint that I want to preserve it in. That's completely up to you. So if you're happy with those results, you can go ahead and coat it with extreme top coat, any kind of wax, sealant, glaze, whatever you want to go ahead and do to kind of give it that extra push and that clarity and shine and protect the paint, that's completely okay. But if you're the perfectionist, if your dad's a perfectionist, or you guys want to go ahead and get those professional results, then we can go ahead and take it a step further and hit it with V34, which is a more aggressive compound. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mask off another little area here, and we're going to go ahead and hit it with the V34 hybrid compound. So to demonstrate what V34 can do on its own, I'm going to go ahead and start off a separate panel over here. So I'm going to grab a piece of tape here, and I'm going to go ahead and mask this area off. Now remember, we have our control section right here, which is our untouched panel. This is just wash and clay bar. On this side, we have the V36, and I masked off a new line over here and kind of in between the two with what we're gonna hit with V34 so that we can get a raw representation of what V34 alone can pretty much accomplish using this paint. So same thing, I'm gonna grab my 10FX polisher here. Now, I have used it with the V36 light cutting polish. That doesn't mean you have to clean it out because the abrasives in V36 are a lot finer than the ones in V34. So we can just pretty much overlap it without any kind of false results. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna apply 5 pea-sized drops again with the V34 so that we can go ahead and coat and get this panel done. So that's using the V34 hybrid compound. Grab my pad conditioner, give it 2 light more sprays, and then same thing, I'm gonna mimic exactly what I did over there on this side. So I'm gonna blot it out, spread it on speed setting 1, and then work it on speed setting 6 until it's completely translucent. Stick around so that you guys can see the results in a few seconds. All right, so now that I finished working out the V34 compound, I'm gonna go and grab my microfiber towel here. I'm gonna wipe off the excess. Now I did have to work the product just a little bit more, just simply because of the abrasives in V34, they're a bit more aggressive. So they are gonna require a little bit more working effort to go ahead and break down so that it completely becomes translucent. So right away, I feel like this gave us a much better result than using the V36, just simply because it got rid of more of the scratches and swirls. So I'm gonna finish wiping this area off. I'm gonna pull off my piece of tape here so that you guys can see the difference before and after. So as you guys see right here, the side with the V36 gave us amazing results, but I feel like the side with the V34 gave us a lot better results, simply because of the fact of the matter that V36 is a light cutting polish. So if you're trying to just, cut fine scratches and swirls, it's gonna do an amazing job at cutting those scratches and swirls quickly, efficiently, without you having to be there all day, and with getting actual results, because every product in the V line is a water-based compound and polish. So there's no fillers, there's no oils that's gonna, make your results false or anything like that. So you see, the results that you see are the results that you get. And you guys see right there, we panned from V34 to our control panel in the center to V36 on the far right. And you guys can see that the V34 gave us a lot better clarity and it removed those heavier imperfections. So I think at this point, we've realized that what's gonna work out best for this paint is the 10FX polisher, an orange cutting pad, and V34 hybrid compound, because these are the results that I'm personally happy with. I think this truck looks amazing, and if your dad's happy with those results, even better. So that looks great. We're gonna go ahead and mimic that throughout the entire truck so that we get rid of all those scratches and swirls. And then once you do that, at this point right here, you may ask yourself, what do you do after that? Well, after you've cut the majority of the scratches and swirls with the V34, you'll have the paint looks a lot better. You have a lot deeper clarity. And from there, you can go ahead and follow up with a finer polish such as V38. So if you do V36 and you're happy with that, and then you want to kind of follow it up with another polish, you can hit it with the V38. V38 is that final polish. So that's going to restore the clarity, bring out the luster and depth of the paint. But in the case like this, since we've already used the V34, we want to make sure that we refine the paint with the polish, because the polish is a lot finer. So it's going to go ahead and refine a smoother surface, and it's going to go ahead and reflect the clarity a lot more, because it's going to refine the paint. It's going to kind of flush it all nicely, keep it nice and even, so that when we apply our wax and our sealant, it has the best shine and durability possible. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with doing the entire truck with V34, and then we'll come back once more with V38. Like I said, V38, you want to make sure that you follow it up with that so that you get the best result possible. But if you're happy with the results from just using the V36, by all means, it works out great. Whatever you're happy with, you can go ahead and, at any time, just apply your wax, sealant, and glaze, and you're good to go. So I'm going to finish this up, and I'll be back with you guys once we're done. So one great thing about this backing plate on this machine is that it has an indentation right here, which allows you to simply put your finger in there and pull off your pad. So whenever you need to change your pads, no more, yanking it off, you can actually securely place your finger there and remove it without risking damaging your pads. So this works out great, and it's nice and sturdy so that it's gonna keep its shape whenever you're working the panel. Another great thing is this awesome handle here. Now this handle is great because you can easily grasp it with your fingers here and wrap your palm around the top so that you can have the best pressure possible. Now, whenever you're working this machine, you wanna make sure that you apply just a nice even amount of pressure. So you don't need to put your whole body weight into it. All you have to do is simply push down with enough pressure so that the pad stays parallel to the surface that you're working on. So in this case, I'm just gonna grab it from here, wrap my palm around the top, and I'm gonna turn on the machine and just simply work it like that. Alright, so I know we said we were going to be back with you guys when we were done with the car, but we just finished doing the door panel, and I just can't get over the shine that this polish delivered. Like I said, that V38, that final polish, it's really going to make a huge difference when it comes to clarity, shine, and the depth of the paint. So as you guys can see, you actually see more of the metallic sparkle. At first this truck looked like it was just black, but you can actually see that it has a beautiful pearlescent metallic paint job, and you guys can see that. You actually see all the metallic flaking in there, and it looks amazing. So not only does V38 add gloss, but it does depth the paint, and it makes it stand out a lot more. All right, so there you have it. We just finished polishing the truck. Now, like I said, I did take my time to explain these steps to you guys so that you guys have a better insight of how to use these products, because ultimately the better you understand these products, the better of a time you're gonna have and a better experience you're gonna have when it comes to correcting your paint. Now, paint correction, it's a beautiful thing. Trust me, once you get it down right, it's gonna be probably the funnest thing you'll ever have. Now, to top everything off and to give it that final cherry on top, we're gonna apply our coat of Extreme Top Coat, which is, like I said, it's a sealant with carnauba. So it's gonna give us a long, durable protection against the harsh elements and extreme hydrophobic properties. And it's also gonna give us that warm carnauba shine, so it reflects off of that beautiful paint correction that we just conducted on this truck. So one great thing about this product is that you can actually apply it with your machine. Now you can apply it with the black finishing pad such as this one. So you can go ahead and apply it onto your machine. So I'll go ahead and set that perfectly down on there. And the reason you can apply it by machine is because, like I said, it mimics a dual action motion. So this does kind of have more of a massage feature. So it's gonna apply a nice even coat throughout the entire paintwork. So all you gotta do, shake it up. And with this product, all you have to do is the same thing as our compounds, just apply 5 dime size drops. Now you can apply a little bit bigger sizes just so that you don't have to keep kind of refilling as much. I like doing the 5 just to kind of, prime the pad first. I'll do the fender, and then I'll apply 2 more drops, and then I'll pretty much go from there on. I'll do the door, the quarter panel, or in this case, the truck bed. So it makes it extremely easy to apply your products without you having to do it by hand. Because after all, you've invested in your machine, you may as well get the best use out of it. So TORQ 10FX DA Polisher, it works out amazing for not only paint correction, removing scratches, swirls, and all that, but you can also just use it to apply your favorite Chemical Guys glazes, sealants, and waxes. So I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with sealing the rest of the car. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the product onto the paint on speed setting 1. I'm gonna let it sit for about 10 to 15 minutes before buffing it off with a soft microfiber towel, and then our job is done. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you've learned something new today, also make sure to comment down below. And if I helped you out choosing the perfect Father's Day gift, well, say no more, enjoy your products, and make sure to tag us at Chemical Guys so that we can see your shine. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of the truck and show you guys those final results at the end. My name is Joey, this is Chemical Guys Detail Garage. We'll see you guys next time.